Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water, I don't know why I'm using a line from Jaws 2. Just when you thought it was safe to relax, to breathe a sigh of relief and think, okay, no players are leaving, none of the big ones anyway. Lots of players coming in. It's been a successful transfer window, right? Just when you were wrapping yourself in that comfort blanket, somebody, Fabrizio Romano, drops a bombshell and says, Edson Álvarez, he could still be off. We thought we were safe on that score, by the way. We really did. As of 2 or 3 days ago, we thought there's just no way. There's no way Alvarez can leave in this current transfer window. Because, let's be fair, there's a few of us who got suspicions that he probably wants to. He's got form for this sort of stuff, by the way. He agitated for a move away from Ajax. Even before he came to West Ham, he really, really wanted to go to Chelsea. And there was definitely reports and a lot of speculation with him joining Man United. And with none of that stuff did he ever bat it away. I may have this slightly wrong. I think he might have kicked up a little stink with a Chelsea move, quite frankly. I believe it was mid-season. I think it was the winter window. Didn't happen. In the end, West Ham got him. But every cloud has a silver lining sometimes. And whilst I would never wish injury on anyone, I do believe that the injury that Alvarez picked up against Jamaica in the Copa America possibly resulted in no other clubs coming in and taking a look at him. And I think we'd sort of, as I say, wrapped ourselves in the sort of comfort blanket of that, because he's a really good player, make no mistake about it. Alvarez is brilliant. I think he makes a hell of a difference to our midfield. We do, over at Hammers Chat, over on Patreon, we do a statistical hammer of the year, if you want. So after every game, we'll give a player rating, give him a rating out of 10. And at the end of the season, Stephen, who's one of our patrons, great guy, he collates everything. And he basically lets us know who has the highest average rating. Last season, it was Bowen. But I tell you what, there was a point when Edson Álvarez was running him close. And it was only really the injuries, the red cards, that sort of thing. And in fact, he couldn't get back in. If you remember, at the end of the season, couldn't get back in under David Moyes. That probably cost him. Plus, Bowen had an exceptional season. But he was a contender. That's my point. He's a bloody good player. And when West Ham were at their best last season was when we had him in the team. You'd suggest possibly when we were at our worst was when we had that I loathe to call it a double pivot, but I'm going to do it. We had that double pivot of Thomas Souček and James Ward-Prowse. Didn't really work. Edson Álvarez was integral. He was pivotal to our team. Julian Lopetegui came in and he said that this guy's important. And he was dealing with a period of recuperation, of convalescence to get him over that injury. And he was due to be back after the transfer window had ended, which was going to scupper any potential move anywhere, particularly Man United. Because at the start of it's not even the start of the window, before the window even kicked in, we heard, whilst the Copa America was in progress, just about to begin, Manchester United were interested. They wanted him as a replacement for Casemiro. And anybody that watched Manchester United play against Fulham in the opening game of the season, you would probably concur that they need a bit of work still. They did not look like a superstar team, Manchester United. And they should, right? Irrespective of whether you like them or dislike them. Manchester United should be a superstar team. Now, that club they are. Whether they still are or not, I don't know. But for much of the last 20, 30 years, they've been known. They've carried that moniker, that label, the richest club in the world. The richest club in the world should have a superstar team, right? You don't get the impression that Man United are. I just don't think they are. I can't think they have too many players who would trouble a get into a world 11 if there was such a thing. Anyway, they were after Alvarez because Casemiro, great first season, tailed off after that. They've been looking to offload Scott McTominay. We tried to get him before. Looks like it's still up in the air. He may well go to Fulham. He may not. But they need a midfielder. And they were in for Alvarez. And the one thing that scuppered the deal was his injury, quite frankly. Whilst he didn't agitate for a move, there were certainly quotes that were attributed to him that suggested he'd be up for a move to Old Trafford. And do you know what? It would be consistent with the player and the man. You could certainly understand why someone would want to do that. But we thought we were home and hosed because only three or 4 days ago, something like that, there was some correspondence between the club and Sean Whetstone, and I was copied in on this correspondence myself, so I'm not throwing Sean under the bus here, far from it. And the club, a high-placed club source, said that West Ham, we weren't expecting to have Alvarez back until after the international break. Now, the international break, it's sort of start to mid-September. What it would have meant was, and I hate the international break, I don't know about you, the season just gets started, and then the international break hits us. We play 3 games, whatever, 3 league games. And just as you get in a feel, you get in a vibe, you've had the summer off, you're getting into your football again, international break comes, and it's just boring, let's be honest. But the first game back was Fulham, which is September 14th. That was scheduled to be his first game back. Because the quote from the club, and I quote, his tear was a lot worse than we expected. So with that in mind, you think, well, he's not going to be fit. He's not featuring. Everything you hear is he's not training. He's on the grass, as they like to say. But he's doing, if you've ever seen any footage from the West Ham training ground, they've got this little, they basically piled a load of dirt in, and they've covered it in turf, and they've made a little hill. And I guess it helps with that. I don't know about fitness and getting fit, but he's doing that sort of stuff. He's in the gym. He's doing the exercise stuff. He's running up and down the hill. So he's running around on the fields. He's on the grass, but he's not playing tippy-tappy, should I say, long ball football, with the players. He's not training with the first team yet. So you put all that together, you're hearing that he's not training with the first team. The club are saying the injury's worse than expected. I don't expect him to be back for, really, let's be fair, almost a month. That's it. Job done. Okay, we'll muddle through. Old treacle toes. Juedo Rodriguez is going to have to muddle through with in midfield until that point. But when Alvarez comes back, the world's a happy place. However, the bombshell was dropped by Fabrizio Romano, as I mentioned at the start of the video. And, well, I'll tell you exactly what he said. Fabrizio Romano has said that Edson Álvarez is expected to return to the West Ham team for the Crystal Palace match. Well, that's at the weekend. That's at Saturday. That's at 3 o'clock. Oh, hold on a second. This isn't what we'd expected. It's not what we've heard. And then he finished up his nasty old tweet, right? I say nasty, he wasn't. He's just giving the news. That's all he's doing, or what he perceives to be the news. I hope he's wrong. I mean, it's certainly completely opposite to everything I've heard. But you know, who am I? Why would I be right and Fabrizio Romano wrong? Of course, that'd be silly. But so that's what he said. No, anyway, he finished off his tweet by saying that clubs remain interested in Alvarez, and basically suggested they'll be coming in with offers at the end of the window, later on in the window. Oh, come on, really? No. I hope not. Look, I sincerely hope not. I don't know. Look, he's getting his information from somewhere. It ain't from the club, because that is not what the club are saying. The club are saying something different. As of, might be 3 days ago, might be 4 days ago. It does it really matter whether it was Thursday, Friday or Saturday? Very recently, within the last few days, they've turned around and they've said, he ain't back. He's nowhere near being back. Romano's saying something very, very different. I can't imagine it would be Stuyton that's fed him that information, because there's no advantage to it. That this would be undermining Stuyton's work. Last thing he wants to do is try and go and get. Let's say that happened. Let's take this to its fullest conclusion. Let's suggest for a moment that he does get fit, that he is fit, that he features, and that right near the end of the transfer window, somebody comes in with a big bid, a whopping great bid. Because we want to keep him. Lopetegui wants to keep him. Lopetegui said as much himself. That gives us a problem. To then replace him so late in the window. Not easy. Not easy. I can't. It creates an issue that we don't need. And as I said, the window's been going good. Whilst it's been great to sign all these players, to keep hold of Bowen and Alvarez and Kudus, that's great. Almost perfect in that sense. So for him to go in at the end, it creates a situation that is a bad one for Tim Stuyton. For that reason, I can't see him leaking that information to Romano. Which makes, and far be it from me to accuse Romano of making something up. Why would he? To be fair, he's got enough stuff to report. There's far more newsworthy than that. He can report big transfers of big teams like Real Madrid and stuff like that. He don't need to bother with West Ham stuff. I don't think it. I don't think it increases his traffic or anything like that at all. So I think he's probably been told it by somebody, and I wonder. I certainly hope it's not come from Edson Álvarez's side of things. All I would say is, things have been wrong before. That there was a point last season where certainly we were told by top sources, let's put it that way, that Lucas Paquetá was not training with the first team, wouldn't feature, and then lo and behold, the team sheet came out on the Saturday and he was there. So, certainly the club are not beyond reproach to putting out a little porky pie out there. Whether that'll happen, I don't know. I hope not. But anyway, there you go. I am merely the messenger. I merely bring you the news that Fabrizio Romano has said Edson Álvarez back and available for the match against Crystal Palace, 3 o'clock Saturday. And come to the end of the window, clubs are going to be in for him.